Hi, my name is Tammy Miller. In this video, we're going to discuss how to name alkenes. Alkenes are carbon chains that contain one or more double bonds. To distinguish this from an alkane, we are going to use the suffix -ene or -ene. Just as with alkanes, we're going to use IUPAC naming to give us the prefix or the length of the chain. Meth for 1 carbon, eth for 2 carbons, prop for 3 carbons, and so on. First thing we want to do to name an alkane is we're going to locate the parent chain that contains the carbon-carbon double bond. We want this to be the longest chain, and that's going to help us to determine that prefix. For instance, if we have 4 carbons in the longest chain, then this is going to be a butene. That's going to tell us that I have a double bond and there are 4 carbons. We always want to number the carbons so the double bond is on the smallest or the lowest possible number. Once I have done that, I'm going to go ahead and name the substituents that are attached to that parent carbon chain. If the double bond is terminal, meaning that it's on the end, we know it's going to be the lowest number. We know it's going to be carbon 1. So no numbering is required. You can use it, but it is not required by IUPAC. If the double bond is non-terminal, this means that it's in the middle of the chain someplace. We want to write the location of that carbon double bond, that carbon-carbon double bond, between the IUPAC prefix and the -ene suffix. For instance, if we have our butene and the double bond is on the second carbon, we're going to have a but-2-ene. Let's practice naming a couple of alkenes. Our first one here, if we look at A, we notice that the double bond is terminal. It's on the end. So I know that that's going to be my first carbon. Then I name my remaining carbons. There are 5 carbons in my chain, so this is going to be a pentene. I can either call this a pentene, or I can call it a 1-pentene. Remember, if it's terminal, that 1 is not necessary. Let's go ahead and look at B. I could try to name this from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I want you to notice that my alkene, my double bond here, would be on the 3rd carbon. Since I want it to be on the lowest carbon, I'm actually going to name it in the other direction. And we want to see what happens here. When we name it in the other direction, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. We still have 5 carbons, but now my double bond is on the 2nd carbon instead of the 3rd carbon. This is important. So this is going to be a pent-2-ene, and then I do have a substituent here. I have a methyl group off of the 4th carbon. So this is going to be 4-methyl. This tells me where my methyl as my substituent is. And then pent is my parent chain. 2 tells me that the alkene, that double bond, is on the 2nd carbon. So this is going to be 4-methyl pent-2-ene. For C, I notice that one of my carbons is terminal. And so that's going to be carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On C, we look at this and we see that there are 2 double bonds. That makes it a di or 2-ene. Here I do have to number that first carbon. I need to say that my double bonds are on carbon 1 and carbon 3. So this is going to be a 1,3 pentadiene.